Will Texas Chainsaw Massacre kill DBD? I've been getting asked this question non-stop since the release of the game, and it has a really simple answer. Obviously not. The only game that's going to kill DBD right now is DBD, or Behavior themselves. It's 7 years into the making, and it has so much content and DLC, and even licenses, that it is simply too big to fail. Hell, Behavior even kind of created the horror asym genre itself, so they're not going to fail anytime soon just because one standalone game came up to quote-unquote dethrone them. Now, I say this all with a big grain of salt. I've logged about over 3,500 hours in DBD and over 300 in TCM in the span of about a month and a half, and I really love both games. Don't take this as a big hate on DBD video. DBD will always have a very special place in my heart, and I really do appreciate all the work that devs have been doing over the years. Both can coexist in this genre and compete in the same breath, which is good for us, the players. It's only a good thing for us, because if these games compete with each other, they have to constantly one-up each other to actually keep players' attentions. They're two separate games. They'll compete with each other as long as TCM survives, but TCM's not going to kill DBD anytime soon. The only thing that these two games share in common is the genre that they inhabit. They play unbelievably differently. DBD, for example, it's a 4v1, 1 killer versus 4 survivors, where you spawn in and you complete 5 generators every match and escape from only 1 killer. There are 2 exits, the main gate exit and the hatch escape. And in TCM, you can complete a number of any 4 different exits while being chased by 3 different family members. And TCM games, you know, kind of go as you spawn in the basement, unlock a door, go to the ground floor, find objects that pair with certain escapes, unlock that, and then go. More notably, TCM is a whole lot goofier than DBD, and that's a good thing, not bad. Instead of focusing on looping around different jungle gyms and pallets, you can use a number of crawl spaces, gaps, barricades, hell, even doors to create distance from a family member. And that's not accounting for each of the abilities that these characters have, which drastically makes all the games feel different and varied, especially when accounting for pairing these certain characters with specific builds and attributes. Although you can't have every good perk in the game on one specific character. Not every character will have access to certain perks, and you can't have all the best perks with you at one time like you can in DBD. You have to pick and choose what you want. It's kind of like an RPG. If you're going to max out your strength, you're going to have other weaknesses. You're not going to be good at doing certain objectives. If you max out your health, you're probably not going to be as fast, or you can put your attribute points balance along all of your different attributes that you want leveled. You have to pick and choose. You can't have it all in TCM, whereas DBD, all the characters are just skins, basically like cosmetics. They don't do anything differently other than their teachable perks, which you don't even need to have on when you play it. So that's another big part of the game that I really enjoy. Every character has a different play style. Another part is how TCM feels compared to DBD. There's a lot less downtime. We're constantly doing something in the match, and if you get caught with low health, you either heal up using one of the scatter pots around the map, or you die immediately and go next, instead of staying in that match that's dragged out for 20 minutes, which commonly occurs in DBD. And whether you're doing an objective, running, stealthing, you're always doing something. And that's because there are 3 family members. Whereas in DBD, it's one person gets to loop the kill at a time while everyone else does generators until the game is over, which can feel kind of boring, especially when there are 5 generators and they all take like 90 seconds to complete. It's a lot of just sitting there and pressing M1. The game is also a whole lot less competitive. There's no skill-based matchmaking. And while skill-based matchmaking can help newer players, it's notoriously really bad and unfun for people of normal playtime and veteran players. So instead, it matches you against players with around your same player level. So max level, you're more likely to go against higher levels, and new player, you're more likely to go against brand new players, which is pretty fair. And while level doesn't necessarily indicate skill level, it's still a pretty good system without making everything competitive. Another factor is the voice chat, which is a feature that DBD players have been asking Behavior to implement for years. Voice chat in TCM is a lot of fun. You can use it to either comm with your teammates or have banter in the pre-game or post-game lobby. It's very goofy nature that adds on to it. And while I wish it was proximity based while you're playing the match as well, they've already confirmed that they're not going to do that either, which saddens me, but I understand why. It just reminds me of the good old days of Friday the 13th, where you would hear someone role-playing as Jason, or people would be screaming at the top of their lungs, running away, scared to shit. And when TCM dropped, a lot of people started boarding the hate train on DBD because, you know, fresh content just dropped. Woo, TCM, the next DBD killer. And people are hating on DBD because, in their words, it's stale. The content drops are kind of lackluster. There's no new game modes. A big thing for a lot of players is that there's not been a big game evolution in years, other than endgame collapse and the recent anti-camp mechanic. But to put in perspective, endgame collapse was introduced 5 years ago, which feels like a lifetime ago. And while I really would like them to add new game modes, they've stated multiple times in player feedback reports like, hey, would you guys like a new game mode? And everybody's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And they never do it. They don't ever really talk about it. Past that, they keep doing Reddit AMAs as well, where they say, ask us any question, and any question that they do actually respond to, it's just, sorry, can't say anything about that. It's kind of sad that behavior really doesn't seem to be transparent a lot. They don't really answer a lot of questions and talk with the community. So I think that's a big factor of why people were hating on DBD so much when TCM came out. And another thing was, Alien also was the largest license that they've done in a long time, but it didn't really appeal to many people, nor bring a lot of attention to veterans of the game. I came back to play Alien. It's cool. It's a cool chapter, and I think the map was actually really nice. Perks were cool too. Characters nice. But the issue is that when I came back, people already figured out a way to 3-gen as Xeno and efficiently camp and tunnel as Xeno. People found out there's not a lot of downsides to playing Xenomorph. He's a pretty strong killer, and that's fair. That's fine. Strong killers are not a bad thing. And when TCM dropped too, everybody was comparing viewer count and player count to DBD. Don't get me wrong, viewer count for TCM was popping off on the first few days that it released. It was at the top of Twitch charts. They're having tens of thousands of players playing. They had about 1 million players within the first couple days across all platforms, which is really good, but it's not everything. Obviously, new games will have a lot of hype behind it when it first drops, and obviously that will dwindle over time. As good as it is for statistics, those Steam player counts and viewer count is not as useful as we think it is. Yeah, TCM was dominating DBD for a while on Twitch, and their player count was also really good. We can't really track players on console, Windows stores, or Xbox app, wherever you can play the game. Same with PlayStation. While comparing games is insightful, it's kind of pointless to constantly compare, overtly do it. The focus should be, you know, obviously enjoying the game as is. Now, even in the most extreme, let's say TCM dies in a month. I don't think it will, obviously, just for argument's sake. I still enjoyed every moment. There are still new patches coming out, new content coming out. I have full faith that this game can easily survive the genre. And the patches have been pretty good. While they should tweak some things here and there, the back and forth they've had with the community is really transparent, and it makes us like pretty damn hopeful for the future of the game. And while the balancing isn't perfect, no game is. It's casual, not competitive, and I think that's just fine. There are a few couple glaring problems still that the devs haven't necessarily tackled within the community, and a big thing is crossplay. I talked about this a little earlier when crossplay was first disabled. It was due to the cheating epidemic that was happening within the first week. A lot of players were seeing cheaters across console and crossplay, so they disabled it so console players wouldn't have to deal with it because cheating is not really going to happen on console. And while I understand the decision, I still disagreed with it when they did it. And they said that at the best case scenario, crossplay would be back up in 2 weeks. Right now, it's been about over a month, and it's definitely been way too long. While crossplay isn't everything determining player count, I definitely think that player count has dipped somewhat due to crossplay, because a lot of people bought the game to play with their friends, and there are some people saying, oh, crossplay's never coming back. It's never coming back. They might never add it back. They're gonna add it back. It should definitely be their priority. I feel like the devs are taking too long. I do think the devs are taking way too long to add it back. I think it should have been back after the first week, because the first patch that they made to update the anti-cheat, I went from about maybe 5 cheaters every stream to maybe 1 every 3 streams. And sure, there are some subtle cheaters that you may go against every now and then, but it's nothing absolutely crazy. And the next thing is the pricing of upcoming content. They've announced the pricing for skins, characters, executions, and a lot of people became quite upset about it. The newest skin that they're making is a collaboration with a very well-known horror artist. I'm probably butchering his name, but Nicotero. And the skin costs $16. Granted, it comes as the full skin, a chainsaw skin, its own custom sound design, and a custom kill animation. That's cool. It comes with a lot. I do think it is a little pricey, nevertheless, because yeah, it's a $40 game. Some people will get it on Game Pass for free. It is a little pricey. Cosmetics are fine to be pretty pricey because you don't have to get them, but they also announced that the characters would be $10 each. And again, I do think it makes sense that they are pricier. There's a lot that goes into it. They all have their own voice lines, sound design, model design, abilities, attributes, unique skill tree. But I think it would be good if they just like drop the price by maybe, like at the most, like $3 or so. It doesn't have to be a crazy drop in price, but I understand why people wouldn't always be able to buy it. Not everybody's in the same spot. And even then, if you buy it, you're not guaranteed to be able to play it. You can only have one of each character in every game. They might have to make it so when these characters do drop, as many people in the lobby can play it. So there'd be like 4 of the new character on both sides, because otherwise people will be paying to play the character and then they won't even be able to play it. And then dodging will be a really bad problem when these characters drop. Take this video with a big grain of salt. This is all just opinionated, so my take compared to yours might not be very good. So let me know in the comments below what you think and if you disagree with me in any way. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.